Alrighty, what is going on, guys? It is Byrdman. We are here today to watch my Kenyon Midget feature, well, basically the whole entire race day in the Kenyon Midget at the Speedrome. It was my first ever time in the Kenyon Midget at the Speedrome. First time running the Kenyon Midget on a non-ultra banked track like Anderson Speedway. Super banked, tough to drive, really physical to drive at Anderson Speedway. Kenyon Midgets are manual steering, so there's no power steering, it's not easy to turn. So let's get into it. So this is the first practice session of the day. Just trying to warm up the car, see what we got going on. Green flag waves. Now I'm just trying to get a good feeling for the car, see what's going on, and try to figure out how the car wants to be taken through the corners, how the track needs to be driven, how the car needs to be driven. This guy's sort of going a little slow in front of me. That's Colin Grissom. He's a pretty fast competitor, and he's been doing this for a couple years now, 3 years. I'm not sure how long he's been doing it, but he's been doing it longer than me. And yeah, just basically, just first practice session out. Don't want to do anything crazy. Don't want to make any stupid mistakes. So get behind the 44 here. It's a little bit squirrely, so I'm just gonna try and get past him there. There we go. And yeah, so just trying to build more and more speed into the corner, be on the throttle a little bit longer at the end of the straight, get on the throttle a little bit earlier, try to figure out how the car needs to be turned through the corner, how much brake I need to use, how much input I need to use, steering input, how much I need to lift, how early I need to lift. At this point I was lifting completely all the way. And pretty much, again, you saw that right there, the car, when coming out of turn 4, really pushed out to the wall there on the exit of turn 4. Right here, get on the power early, the car just slides out to the wall, and you got to be careful. Right there, I almost lost a little bit of control. Probably stabbed the brakes a little bit too hard with my left foot. And just not quite, like the car's getting a little bit out of shape through the mid-corner, like sort of pushing through the mid-corner, and then just my inputs aren't being as smooth as they could be. So just trying to be smoother, getting onto the gas, white flag wave, so practice session's almost done, and see what I can get for this final lap. They said you don't want to track out all the way. Mel Kenyon, ultimate like midget champion, he won multiple midget championships on the national level. He built these Kenyon midget cars. He himself said that at the Speedrome you don't want to go too far out on the back straight. You don't want to go all the way out to the wall. You want to stay about mid-track, maybe a little bit further. Otherwise you're running more room, you're running more of the track, you're losing a lot of your speed and momentum, and you're just running more track, and maybe you have a higher speed or momentum, but you're running more. You don't really need to. And also, if you run so far out wide that way, then you're going to end up at the entry into 3, everyone's going to dive underneath you. So you don't want to do that. So you can see when I open up my visor for my visor cam, all the natural noise comes in a lot easier. But let's see if we can. I think we're about to go out here. Okay, so I just compiled all this footage that I took over the course of the day. This is practice session 2. Just getting the tires warmed up a little bit. Probably going to get the green flag pretty soon since I just skipped ahead by 30 seconds. Yeah, basically I just wanted to show you guys what it's like on a race day, like all the sessions. I just want to kind of walk you through my mindset and everything like that. So getting the green flag to start picking up speed. This guy's picking up speed all the way. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go to. Light's still yellow, you can see it. Now it just turned green, so now I got the for sure go ahead. Talked to the competitors, talked to my dad a little bit after the practice one. Like, yeah, I think you can get a little bit more out of the exit, and you can definitely get more on the entry. So right here you can see me, I'm carrying just a little bit more speed into the corner, and got really close to the wall there. You can hear me when I lift off, the engine starts backfiring a lot, and I was talking to Kenyon, and he said that's not really the fastest way around the track. You're bogging down the engine when you do that, and you also are, if you're not, it's almost like for practice and qualifying, he said that you actually want to be on the throttle and the brake at the same time. You don't want to lift off the throttle completely, otherwise you get that backfire, you start bogging down, and the car is not as wound up. When you lift all the way and when you brake into the corner and you just lift, if you're off everything at the point, at the mid-corner point, then you're going to end up either understeering out or oversteering, which essentially just upsets the balance of the car, and the car is not going to cut through the corners fast if you lift off the throttle all the way. So at this point I didn't really know that yet, so at this I was just in practice 2 just trying to just carry a bit more, like full throttle just a little bit further into the corner, lift a little bit later, and then try to brake a little bit smoother but harder and later as well. And you can see I'm starting to get a little bit better. In practice 1 I was about a, I think we're running 12 second laps. I think it's 12-second laps. So I ran like a 12.6. I ran a 12.6. I was 4/10 off of P1 in practice 1, off of the fastest guy. And then in this practice session, I actually cut that down by about 2/10. So I got 2/10 faster in this session, because you can just see I'm just carrying just a little bit more speed each time. I'm gonna get underneath this 44 car. No, I didn't want to. Why be over aggressive during practice session? The practice session's almost over. White flag waves. There's no reason to just go for an absolute move on this guy. I mean, I know he's a little bit slower than me, but there's no reason to take that unnecessary risk. So I can tell I'm significantly slowing up in the mid corner when I'm behind him. So I'm like, okay, yeah. So this guy's holding me up a little bit, but that's all good. I'm just gonna turn around here and go into the pits. Last time I was in one of these cars, the shifter right there, you can see it, actually broke when I tried upshifting, which had never happened before in any of the cars, so just sort of a fluke accident. The shifters are a little, you need to be a little bit more persuasive than you think you need to be in order to get the car into the proper gear. You're going from first gear all the way up to 4th gear, and then you just run 4th gear the entire race, the entire lapping session. So this guy's out here. I'm about to go out to qualify, and this guy's out here. Bada bing, bada boom. I think he might have just gone the checkered flag. No, he's about to go. So we'll see. I preemptively turned on my camera that way I didn't miss anything. Okay, here we go. I'm going out right now. I'm getting up the gears as quickly as possible. Boom, up to 4th gear. Trying to get as good of a run out of here as possible. I have 1 to go until I actually get the green flag, so gotta use this lap to my advantage as much as possible. Get the tires warmed up, get as much pressure and temp into the tires as I possibly can, and boom, took the green flag. Got a little wide of the apex there, so, and that meant I had to wait a little bit too long to get back to the throttle on the exit. And here we go, getting right to the wall, a little bit, like maybe a foot or 2 away from the wall in the front straight. Really pushed, just like really understeered out into the corner. Narrow entry, understeered out again, and more confidently to the power on the exit, but the damage had been done at that point. Understeered in both the corners, both lap 1 and 2 for my qualifying. So just didn't quite know what the car needed in that moment. Maybe I didn't have enough stagger for the car. Maybe I just, like what Kenyon said, he said that you wanted, during like practice 2 and qualifying, in between, he said you want to try to do the lift not all the way method while braking. That way the engine doesn't backfire and you don't understeer in the corner. So I didn't want to try that in my first qualifying go around. It just seemed a little bit too risky. I mean, this is my 4th ever qualifying in these cars, and first time at this particular track, so a lot of new variables coming into play. Didn't want to do anything silly. Didn't want to do something I didn't know what to do when I only had 2 laps to figure it out. So didn't want to lift all the way. Right here we actually have the heat that we're about to do. Just getting the tires warmed up. I'm going to, yeah, so we're all lined up now, so we're probably about to go. This is entering turn 3. We're about to start at turn 4. I think there's a punch cone right around here. So we go a little bit early, but that's okay. So this is the heat. Doesn't really mean anything. You can see that I'm just trying to take my time, see what these guys are doing. This guy's getting all squirrely, the number 10 car. I was trying to see if I could take advantage of him passing the 71, and like, oh man, I can't quite get the run off the corner. So I tried taking advantage of him getting on the inside of 71. In this track, you really just have to take advantage of passing on that inside line. And when someone passes in front of you, and the car's on the outside, you better make him stick. You better keep him stuck on the outside, otherwise you're not going to get the train, and you're going to end up staying where you are, and the guy in front of you is going to move up by himself. So you definitely don't want that to happen. Right now I'm still trying to figure out, like, I can see what they're doing, I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing, but as you can see, every single time I run a little bit wide there, but my run off the corner is actually decent, but they're going all the way out to the wall on the back straight, and they're just killing me coming out of turn 4. So I'm just not quite carrying the momentum I need through the corner, and they're probably getting back to the full throttle a lot more confidently than I am as well. So I'm taking in all this information, analyzing all these variables, and trying to see why I'm falling behind, trying to also be as smooth as possible, that way I don't make a stupid mistake and lose a lot of ground. So you can see they're just pulling me just a little bit, like maybe a tenth per lap, maybe a tenth and a half per lap. That lap might have been 2 tenths, but really not super significant. But you can see I'm really trying to push on the exit. The car's like getting loose / understeering out into the wall, the front straight. They're entering the corner a lot wider. They're coming at a much wider arc into the corner, whereas I am keeping a bit more narrow on the back straight. I don't go all the way out to the wall. I keep it a bit more narrow. I'm trying to make the cut through the corner, but I'm pushing out wide, and that's the end of the heat race. The 10 car managed to move up a position. 71 got passed a little bit. Ayrton, I think he was the winner of the race and the heat race as well. He did a pretty good job and managed to get that first place position for the heat. And let's see here. So once to go for the green flag. This is the main feature. So tried talking to like Mel, the competitors, just see what I sort of need to do. I start 7th. I start 8th of 9 cars in this feature, and this car on my outside is Trey Osborne. He has a lot of experience at this track, and get a decent start. I'm just trying not to get collected in any off the start rubbish that might occur. I'm trying to follow Trey up because he's got the 71 car stuck on the outside. I'm trying to follow Trey up, hold the 71 car to the outside. I have the inside line. I'm trying to take it, try to make sure I'm not like getting into him, and slowly getting pulled away from Trey Osborne. I'm trying to make sure they get a little bit checked up, so I make up some ground to Trey, and still giving Sam the room he needs to run on the outside. And boom, I think I get a pretty good corner right there. I'm pretty confident. Okay, so he's still holding my outside, so I'm trying to make sure he's still there. If he's still there, I'm going to keep on giving him room. Right there, I think I got the corner. I got the run off the corner, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. And now it's just a matter of, okay, so right here, that was something very weird to me. And I don't know why I thought it in the moment, but right here, I pretty much have him secured. He's not on my outside anymore, but right here, I hold myself pinched from the outside of the wall. I'm giving room on my outside because I thought I heard on my back rear Sam Hines in the 71. I thought he was on my outside rear, and I'm like, I don't want to run this guy into the wall. It's going to ruin my race too. It's going to ruin his race. So I tried giving him racing room on the outside, and it got me a little bit out of shape there. You saw the car get a little bit out of shape going into the corner. This is the lap before. I sort of want to break this down for you. So right here, I'm like, okay, maybe he's still on my outside. Maybe he's gonna challenge me on the outside. I hear him on my right rear, and I give him room, but I get a little bit out of shape, and he takes complete advantage of that and gets on my inside into turn 3. I'm like, okay, well that's unfortunate, and made a little bit of tire contact there, trying to just keep him honest, run this close as possible. But unfortunately, that made me unable to hold the outside against him, that little bit of tire contact. But at this point, I'm still in 8th place, so I haven't lost any position, I haven't gained any positions. I basically was up to 7th there, but unfortunately, for whatever reason, I thought I heard someone on my right rear wheel, and like, I don't want to pinch this guy into the wall, give him room, and that made me get a little bit upset on the on the back straight, and then he took advantage of that apparently because he wasn't on the outside and he was actually on the inside, and he dived on the inside and got to my inside, made the pass stick. So right now I'm just trying to run as clean and consistent as possible, run the car hard, really just wheel it around. You can't really see me work the wheel, but you don't see my hands. The wheel is like this. It's like almost flat. It's not like straight up and down like you would. It's more like this. So you're kind of driving it like this. So that's besides the point. But just trying to take advantage of any sort of skerfuffle that these guys might be getting in. Sam seems to be getting into a little bit of business with Trey Osborne, and I'm just trying to run as hard as possible, learn as much as I can in the track. I only have like probably maybe 20 laps at this track at this point before the feature, so definitely not a lot of time and a lot of seat time at this track. Not a lot of experience with the car in general, but I see Sam's trying to get the run off the inside. He might go for the inside move. He gets chopped down, so they're having a pretty good race up there ahead of me. I'm just trying to catch up. Seems like Trey got a little bit squirrely on the outside. Gives Sam the perfect opportunity to try to dive on the inside, but he did not. He chose not to do that. And I'm just trying to analyze what these guys are doing, but also just run as hard as possible, because I know if I make any sort of little mistake, I'm going to get pulled away from. So you can see I'm not really getting pulled away from that much. I just had an unfortunate incident with contact with Sam Hines' right rear with my left front, and I'm just trying to regain as much track position as possible. Right there's a little bit of movement from Sam and Trey. I want to rewind that real quick. So Sam tries getting that undercut out of the corner. He sort of just overdrives the entry, I would say. Sam overdrives the entry a little bit on Trey. Trey gets sideways. Sam gets sideways. And Sam wasn't quite able to control his car on the inside. So he sort of drove up a little bit into Trey. I would say Trey probably gave him enough room there. But that was the perfect opportunity for me to take advantage of. Sam looks like he got a little bit of damage, or at least was really slowed down from the contact, and therefore I could try and take as much advantage of that as possible. And I was like hoping maybe Trey has a little bit of damage too, but he seemed to be perfectly alright after that contact. Got a little bit of separation from those guys. That guy had a little bit of contact there, getting a little bit sideways into the entry to turn 3. But right now, just trying to work my way to Trey. Got a little bit sideways there on the exit, just maybe overdriving the car a little bit. And I know his tires were old in this race. Not the newest tires, not the best tires in the world, but something he could work with. He's ran here a lot. He has a lot of experience. So slowly closing in down on Trey Osborne. And I watched a lot of his YouTube videos because I didn't have any idea what this track held in store for me. I watched a lot of YouTube videos to sort of figure out how it needed to be driven, how people tend to race the track in the Kenyon Midget, since he's had a lot of Kenyon Midget experience here. So it was really helped me understand, and there's the cam box cut. Ignore that. So really, watching his videos really helped me understand that this is a one-lane track. The only way you're going to pass is, in these cars, realistically, is going to be on the inside. You have to get a really good run on the exit of the corner, usually probably turn 2, and then you dive into turn 3, or getting a good run out of turn 4 and diving in on turn 1. But either ways, the main passing line is the inside, and you have to dive it in, but you also have to make a stick. And he's obviously not making a stick on the exit of the corner, but giving me a good opportunity to run and catch up. Right here, this is probably the closest I've been to Trey since I had the initial contact with Sam in the beginning of the race. Slowly pulling towards Trey Osborne. But as I was saying, essentially a one-groove track. You don't really want to go side by side through these corners for very long, otherwise the people in front of you is going to catch up, or they're going to pull away from you, and the people behind you are going to catch up too, if there's any space in the first place. But there is what they call the champions line, and that is the line on the outside groove of the track through the corners. And the only way to make that work is if you're running the outside, you go all the way out to the back straight wall, you hold the throttle for just like long enough to get the outside run, like compared to the other guy. You have to hold the throttle just long enough get that outside run, and then you have to make it stick somehow. It's really not much of an outside line grip, so you have to make that outside line work, and then eventually, and hopefully they know, the person on the inside knows you're on their outside, go exit in the corner, otherwise they're going to smash you into the wall. That's happened a few times to Kenyon himself. He's a champion. He was able to run that champion's line, but from my experience in watching Trey Osborne's videos, and from what I could tell from these cars, very few people are able to make a Kenyon Midget stick on the outside to make a pass. So I wasn't making any sort of passes in the first place. So I wasn't making any passes on the inside, let alone the outside. So pretty much how that breaks down. But we are, I mean, in this situation, I'm just trying to keep up as much as I can with Trey, analyze when he's making mistakes, and just really not make any mistakes myself, and try not to overdrive the corner, maybe a little bit too much there. But really trying to get the car turned through the center, trying to figure out what it wants, how early I can apply the throttle and it can still stick. Really, exiting turn 4 right here is just so concerning, because you run out to the wall so quickly. If you're not understeering out to the wall, you're loose, and you really just have to like power slide, like, and then just like you're going out to the wall super quickly. So, and there I'm a little bit hesitant on the throttle, trying to get as much as I can out of it. And I think one of my things as a racer is I'm not ultra, like, I need to build this killer instinct mode, and when I get behind someone, hit that inside curb, then kind of unsettled me a little bit. And now he pulls back away, so I close the gap, and then he pulls away again, which is pretty unfortunate, a little bit frustrating when I know I probably have newer tires than him. But then again, he's run a lot of laps here. He has a lot of experience on how to get these cars through pretty much every corner. He's run these on dirt. And right there, so that's Ayrton Hook. He passed me on the inside. He just lapped me right there. I don't know why. I just overdrove the entry just a little bit, got a little bit loose, and I had to correct for it. And really just overdrove the entry there. And just slightly. I mean, any slight little overdrive in these cars, you're going to get slightly loose, and I'm going to have to correct for it. And by the time you're correcting a midget, you're going to lose a lot of momentum, and you're going to get really squirrely. I don't know why the car got so upset from that, but it did, and I ended up getting passed by Ayrton. It made me look like I was an absolute chump when he passed me, just flying by me as if I was scared of him passing me on the inside. I really wasn't, but that's besides the point. So really just trying to regain after that. That was like my first major mistake. I've been underdriving slightly, very slightly, and overdriving very slightly in these corners in this race so far, but nothing as substantial as that where I overdrive and I make a significant mistake. But that was probably what I would say my first significant mistake was in this race. You can see Ayrton got past Trey fairly quickly, and now I closed the gap a little bit to Trey there, and I closed the gap down to even more significantly right there as well. I'm driving into the entry a little bit harder. I think I'm getting off the corners a little bit better. But when I start to close the gap and I get closer and closer to him, that's when things just don't quite go my way. I can't manage to just keep drive the same as I was. That got me there. I start driving a little bit differently the closer I get to the car in front of me, which is something I really need to improve on and work on. But the closer and closer I get, he makes a little bit of a mistake, I get a pretty good run out. But right there, I'm hesitant on the throttle on the exit, and right there's really no need to be. Honestly, I was a little bit concerned about how early can I get to power, how early can I get the full throttle, and this car is going to stick, and it's not going to steer out too wide, and it's not going to make the car too unsettled going into turn 3. And that was really the main concern for me. And he gets even more sideways there. I'm really, really close to him at this point. I just need to drive how I was driving before. And then, there we go. So, that is the first caution that just happened. Let's rewind that a little bit, see what happened exactly. So, you can see that car's sideways. I'll point with the cursor. I'm pointing with my finger. This car right here was sideways, just ever so slightly. let's see here. So right here, if we can look at this, he gets, yeah, he gets pushed from behind, and then he gets sideways like that. So he just got a little bit upset, and let's see. And then I think that's the white car that's sideways right there. Black car seems to be perfectly okay. And I'm looking at Trey right now. I'm not looking at this. So probably my bad that I ended up hitting Trey Osborne a little bit. Didn't hurt the car, didn't hurt my car, but I'm focused on him and getting the drive off the corner. I'm not looking farther ahead. I probably should be, and that's something I need to work on as a race car driver. You always want to be looking further ahead into the corner. You want to really, the further ahead you look into the corner, the more information you'll have in terms of how much sooner you can get onto the throttle. You'll just have more information to work with, and everything sort of slows down the further ahead you look into a corner. So I see Trey check up right here, and then now I notice the cars in front of me. I'm like, oh, I need to avoid those guys. That's not a good situation. So just got into him a little bit, and yeah, so he was pretty much stopped on the outside there from a little bit of a kerfuffle from before. This guy barely gets by. Did he get? I wonder if he passed him on the outside. I didn't see. Yeah, but Trey got a little annoyed at that, and I can understand that because I should have been looking further ahead into the corner. But now the caution is brought out, and I think we have 3 laps to go at this point. So I think if we can see the board up here, the board's right here. Yeah, 47. So it's a 50-lap race. Lap 47. We got 47 laps done. We're essentially going to have 3 more laps to complete as soon as the. So right now we're lapped. We're lapped. Me and Trey Osborne are lapped by Ayrton Hook. These guys over here are not lapped, and so eventually they put us in front of the non-lapped cars, me, Ayrton, and Trey, and eventually they call us to go in front right here. Yep. So that's what they do. They call Ayrton to in front, me to the front, and Trey. So at this point, he's going to be starting on the inside pole, Trey's going to be starting on the outside pole, and I'm going to be starting in 3rd place position for whatever reason, just to hold the order as it was. You'll see soon that this wasn't how we should have been lined up, but that's okay. So yellow light's still out. Okay. So here's the restart from the caution, and you can see I'm on the 2nd row on the inside. Trey Osborne, I'm racing against Trey Osborne here. He is my competition. He is in 7th place. I'm in 8th place at this point. Well, probably more like 6th place. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm in 7th place at this point. So I'm trying to get 6th place, and I'm not racing against Ayrton. He's lapped me. Technically, these guys behind me haven't lapped me. So I'm still technically racing against them, but yeah, I'm not quite a lap down yet, but I probably should be letting these guys go if they start pushing me really hard. But you'll see how everything goes on the restart. So right here, coming up, I try to get as good of a start as possible. Not the best start in the world. And you can see the yellow light's out. Ayrton, who definitely checks up, and I get a little bit jostled from behind. I want to rewatch that back because this is the first time I've watched it too. So yellow flag. So we're not going. Everyone thinks we're going, and I got a little bit jostled from behind. I got a little bit of bump, but that's all good. And eventually they send me and Trey to the back of the line where well, not the back of the line, but where we belong in our proper 6th and 7th place position. I don't know why they had us line up in this order. We thought we were going again, but they didn't wait. But at this point, yeah, we got sent to the back. We got Trey Osborne in 6th place, Colin Grissom in 5th place. I am in 7th place, and then Sam Hines, I believe, or whoever it was that spun out. Yeah, the guy that spun out, the 24 car, he is on my outside, and I don't think I'm racing against him. So, yep, here we go, restart. A lot of action goes down right here. So, and right here in this situation, we have a situation where I'm on the inside of Trey. I'm almost with Colin Grissom. I should be holding the inside line to keep Trey Osborne on the outside. Because if I can hold that inside line, he cannot go down. He cannot get that preferred line. And I'll essentially train Trey Osborne, hold him on the outside, and I'll be able to make up that 6th place position, and potentially more people as well. Even though I'm not technically racing against these guys since they've lapped me at this point, I am racing against Trey Osborne, so I need to do my best to get past him. So he still is on the outside. I'm trying to hold my inside line. That was a little bit of a squirrely. These guys are really squirrely. These guys are fighting for their lives here. And then boom, that guy just jumps. I don't know if it was a curb that he jumped or if it was a car's tire. I think it's probably him in the 10 car. Yeah, just jumps the curb with his left rear. I'm like, okay, boom, perfect opportunity. I'm going to get on the inside of this car, and I back out of it. This guy just cuts across me on the front, and then Trey Osborne gets the run on me from the inside. And that was probably the worst possible thing that could have possibly happened in that situation. So coming out of this corner, there's a big skerfuffle, boom, and they're all slowed down. The 0-0 Colin Grissom is all checked up. This guy's checked up. This guy's checked up. And Trey is out here on the outside. And he's not really checked up, but he might check up as well because these guys are slowed down. So right here, boom, I'm getting the drive off the corner. I'm getting the drive off of turn 4. And I know I'm not racing against this guy, but I know that if I can get past this guy and get space in between Trey Osborne and me using him, if I can get him in between us, then boom, I've secured 6th place and I can start working for even more positions. I mean, it's unrealistic to get more than 6th place at this point, but I want to race. I want to race these guys, and I want to do. I'm not going to intentionally lift off the gas to slide in underneath this guy, which is what I probably should have done in retrospect. So, boom, this guy doesn't give me the room I want. Like right here, if I held my line on the inside, if I dove in, this guy does not have enough room. There's not enough room between this guy's tires and this curb right here. I don't want to jump that curb, so I ended up backing out and slotting into place, essentially. And Trey Osborne, at this point, is still on my, he's either on my outside, further on the back right to my right rear, or he's pretty much right on the inside of me. He slotted in behind me. I think he probably slid in behind me, but who knows. So right here, this guy's driving like a, I don't know, madman, maniac, whatever you want to call it, and comes across like, well, I mean, I'm right here. I just slotted behind this guy, so there's no reason for this guy right here to expect me to slow down. And I didn't slow down there. I expect to have my racing room given to me. And then we just make contact, my right front with his left rear. And that massively slows down my momentum going through the corner and coming out of the corner. So now I'm late to throttle. I'm powering out, and that momentum shift was a perfect opportunity for Trey Osborne to come back in. I'm 6th place at this point. He comes back in on my inside, out of the corner, and boom, gets the run on the inside and retakes 6th place position. And white flag flies right there. These guys are still driving like crazy and really driving as hard as possible to get to that podium position. And boom, checkered flag is out. And I end up in 7th place. So I started the race 8th place, and I finished 7th place. Really unfortunate that I could not get, I think that's Sam Hines. He was out of the race pretty early on from probably the contact he made with Trey Osborne. And yeah, so really weird restart. We had a fake restart where I was starting 3rd essentially. At least 3rd place position, even though I was in 7th place at the time. And yeah, so I just turned off my camera because I'm done with that at that point. But really good learning experience overall. It was quite frustrating how that restart ended up happening. I mean, these guys get all squirrely in front of me in turn 4. This guy's jumping the curb, boom, and the fact that I'm not given racing room coming out of turn 4, I mean, yeah, he's not racing against me, but I'm right there, and he cuts me off, that's okay. Okay, but this guy, do you expect me to jump the curb is the question. Does this yellow car expect me to jump the curb? And I think the answer should be no. I'm not going to intentionally jump the curb, but he doesn't give me the racing room. Trey gets on my inside, and that is a GG's in the chat for this particular race, and for 6th place position at that. I really wanted 6th place. I was fighting to keep up with Trey and pass him the entire race, and I pretty much had it in the bag twice in a row. I actually passed him in the first restart and also the second restart. That was the official restart. So unfortunate that I couldn't get 6th place secured. If I didn't make that one mistake when Ayrton passed me to lap me, I probably would have caught up eventually to Trey and at least taken advantage of Ayrton passing him, and I probably would have been able to pass him too. But multiple opportunities for me to pass Trey, and unfortunately I did not execute on any of them. So ended up finishing 7th there, and that is essentially how my race day at the Indianapolis Speedrome with the Kenyon Midgets went. So first race overall, I mean, considering I had like 20 laps going into the race, it wasn't actually very terrible, and learned a lot about how the car needed to be driven, how the track needed to be driven. You really need to manhandle these cars through the corner, power slide, power steer out of the exits, and really do the best you can to be really aggressive in the racing. If you're not racing bumper to bumper with people and really putting your nose on their rear, then you're not really going to get anywhere, especially not top 3. So thanks for watching the video. If you found this interesting, just leave a like, maybe subscribe to my channel if you want to as well, and leave a comment if you have any questions about this series, other races I've been in, and the things that we're doing with bird racing. But yeah, pretty fun video to sort of go back. I mean, I haven't watched the video all the way through, so this is my first time as well with you guys. Just want to give you a live sort of reaction of how everything went during the race day, and what the thoughts that are going through my mind and all that are in a racing scenario and a between practice scenario as well. So if you guys want to, I'll leave all my social medias and stuff. I'll leave them in the description. You can follow them if you'd like. And I'll hopefully be doing a lot more of these in the future, basically racing analysis, live commentaries, that sorts of things. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and I will talk to you later. Byrdman out.